Hello, hello. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Another week. Another new week for opportunities. Hello, welcome back. I am Melly. We cover all things true crime. Hello, hello. Tonight's is going to be rough. Welcome back. Hey, Rach. And hey, Alsane, what's up? Good to see you guys. Okay, so it's funny because I've been thinking about talking about, and hello, welcome to all the new viewers and new subscribers, etc. Welcome. Please make sure you do hit the like button for your girl. It really helps me out. Make sure you subscribe. We do Melly After Darks at night, cover all things true crime, entertainment, etc. So the case we're talking about, I know, Widow. Let me know if you guys are digging the background too. It's gonna change like on my mood daily, on a daily basis. Yeah, I'm that girl. Okay, so Melly, what do you have for us today? I have to give some disclaimers before I get started on this live because I feel like I will get comments. I will get shit for this. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you all the details of the case per usual. You know, I have the police report. We get into documents here. We want all the facts. I have so much to say about this case, and I'm going to start off with giving a disclaimer. I am just here to report on cases that are out there in the YouTube streets that, you know, everyone's interested in. Is this necessarily a true crime case? You tell me at the end of this live what you think. It's a very controversial case. Originally, I did not want to cover it because it does involve a child. But you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm going to give you guys all the facts of this case, and I'm going to tell you my analysis and my opinion at the end. And I just want to say that before I get started on talking about this case, you know, my heart goes out to the Kiser family. You know, I feel for them. I'm not a parent, so I can't speak on that level, but I feel for them that they lost a child, and, you know, whatever happened, I guess us in the media and in the true crime world, we probably won't ever know. Just like every other case, right? Like the Idaho 4 case, like, will we ever really know the truth? I don't think so. Are we going to believe, you know, someone who slashed 4 people's throats? Probably not. And why is this case important? This case is important because a family that, okay, let me know, Whittle, because I have been having internet issues, so it could possibly be my internet. Let me know. If it ends up being real crappy, then I'll just end the live and we can schedule it and do a Melly After Dark. But I'm hoping that it's okay and it's not freezing too bad. I do kind of see that it like lags a bit. Let's just hope that for the most part it's okay. Let me know if it gets bad though. Okay, let's get back to the case. So why are we talking about this case? We're talking about it because Emilie Kiser and 𝐷 Kiser are a family that is very much on social media. They put their life out there for everyone to see. She's a Mom-Fluencer, influencer, if you may. She has over, I think, 5 million subs across all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And so I think it's important to talk about this case because when I first heard about it, I figured, okay, wow, that's terrible, right? Like, how horrible to lose a child to an accident at your home. I really I do believe that it was an accident. Now, whether there was negligence involved, I feel some type of way about this. I feel like, I think there was, I don't want to give too much away. Let's get through all the documents. before I get started on the case, because there's a lot of factors here, and I'm struggling to kind of put everything together before I give my full opinion. But many people think that this case is negligence and that he should have been charged. And what happened here is that during this case, Trigg Kiser, he is a 3-year-old son to Emilie Kiser and 𝐷𝐸𝐴 Kiser. And he was watching his son on May the 12th of 2025. He was babysitting because Emilie, who is the famous TikToker, she's an influencer. They live in a almost $2 million house. Not only why is that important? It is important when we get to the facts of the police report. So he was watching his son on May 12th, and there was a basketball game going on, and Emilie decided to go out to dinner with her friends. She had just had a baby, so I think the baby was like a month old at the time, and she went out to dinner with her friends. And so 𝐷𝐸𝐴, the father, was left at home to babysit both of the boys while mom went out to dinner. And during this time that 𝐷𝐸𝐴, the father, was babysitting, Trigg, the 3-year-old little boy, went outside and he drowned. Yes, he did. He drowned in the pool in their backyard. And it's terrible. It's so sad and so heartbreaking. But originally, when this case happened, when it happened on 6:41 p.m. on May 12th, is when he called 911 to report that his son was unconscious in the pool in the backyard. Okay. So what a terrible accident, what a tragedy. My heart goes out to the family and everyone that knew Trigg, this little sweet little boy. But there's so much more to this case. And why am I talking about it today? Like I said, she is a TikToker. The family is all over social media. So I don't feel, and everything is basically public information. You know, the police reports, you know where I get all my stuff. I don't feel like I am violating Trigg's rights or his persona or his character or who he was as a little boy by showing the police report and reading it and showing pictures of him. Why? Because his mom exploited him on TikTok and all the platforms. Call it what you may. Exploited, shared, whatever. She was putting her children on the internet to be a Mom-Fluencer and a TikTok influencer and an Instagram influencer. And that's fine. I'm not judging her. But with that comes having public information in your life and in your story and what you so much put out there as your kids. And then when this crime happens, it's like, oh, now you want to go quiet. Now you don't have anything to say, right? You were posting videos about brushing your children's teeth, and suddenly it's, you know, what she's trying to do with this case and what she has done, Emilie Kiser, which she goes by Emilie Henriksen, by the way. That is her legal name. And she fought, well, her lawyer, a very high-paid lawyer. And remember, you have to remember, this family comes from wealth and money. They have a lot of money. So basically, they have the funds and they have the resources to get top-notch lawyers and to have them fight for all these things, right? And she has filed a lawsuit to keep some of this information redacted and unavailable to the public. And you know how I am about that kind of stuff. I don't think it should be redacted, and I do think it should be available to the public. We cover true crime all day long here. I read documents all the time, probably every live, if not every other live. And I get them all per FOIA. And so when I hear that she's trying to keep details of the case out of the media, it makes me feel very uncomfortable. Not because we're true crime junkies and we want to know everything, because that's absolutely true. But I feel like that information should be accessible to the public. I know the body cam footage is probably horrific because it is a drowning child. I know that she probably doesn't want the public to see her child in that kind of space. And I get that and I respect that, but that's why they redact things and cut out things, right? I think the details that were cut out in the police report pertain to her husband and the negligence that came from this case. Melly, are you here shaming Brady Kiser and Emilie Kiser for being bad parents? No, I do not believe that they are bad parents, but I do feel that you being a parent, and I'm not one, so I want all you parents to leave a comment in the chat or on the video, and please let me know what you see and what you feel and if I'm right. I feel like being a famous TikToker, having a house of $2 million, and there's details that are going to come out in the police report, and I'm just going to brush through them so you can hear them straight from the police report. They had 4 access points in the house, and none of those access points were legitimate. The alarm system wasn't working when the doors opened and closed, and there was things, the doors weren't shutting appropriately, they weren't latching or locking appropriately, either one, or there was problems with all access points of the house. There was also a pool cover by a company called 𝐷𝐿𝐥𝐥𝐲, which I find very dark humored. Yeah, 𝐷𝐿𝐥𝐥𝐲. They make like pool nets, safety tools, I guess, for pools. And they also had a pool cover. So Emilie Kiser decides to go out with her friends. She's a famous TikToker. She just had a baby. He's 1 month old. He goes by Teddy Theodore. Her husband stays home, watches the boys. Her husband gets distracted, mind you. Melly, was it really distraction? Are you being a mean girl? Or what was going on? I'm going to tell you in just a second. He's distracted. The little boy walks outside and he drowns in the pool. Now let's talk about drowning. Drowning is, I think, probably one of the worst ways, I think, for someone to die, and I think for a child specifically. The child did not know how to swim. He knew how to somewhat act in the pool, according to his mom, but he was not like, a proficient swimmer. He was 3 years old. And there's so much wrong with this case. And I really, really tried. I do feel for them. I don't want you guys to come to my channel and think that I'm bashing on them, that I'm bashing on the family. But why do I feel that he should have been charged, the father? Well, let's get into it. I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint. I'm going to show you guys some photos. We're going to go through some facts, and then we're going to go through the police report. And then I'm going to hit on the points of why I think that, one, she shouldn't have fought so hard to keep things redacted. It only makes her look bad. I don't think that redacting information from police reports, body cam footage, all of the sort, I don't think that protects Trigg. And that's the baby boy that died. That doesn't protect him. It's protecting his parents. And it's protecting what they have. And I think Emilie probably doesn't want a backlash. She is a famous TikToker. She doesn't want people to stop supporting her. That's how she makes a living. She has a $2 million house. Well, Melly, why are you so upset? Well, I'm so upset because you have a $2 million house, but you didn't find the means to have extra security measures in place when you have 2 little kids that are toddlers with a very nice pool that's about 9 feet deep. I know, and this is a good live to maybe we all regroup and let's take a moment and slow down in our lives, right? I took a week off from streaming last 2 weeks ago, and why did I do that? Because sometimes I feel like it's necessary to slow down and just reevaluate our lives, our choices, and what we're doing, what we're doing, etc. And I think that they're so famous and they're so wealthy, and she's an influencer. And I think things like, oh, is there a pool cover they'll overlook it. And we overlook things like that in our everyday life. And so I think once I'm done reading the police report, I will give you again my full opinion. I think you already know how I feel, and my heart does go out to the Kiser family. I don't think that their relationship might last. I think he will forever hold that in his heart and in his soul, that on his watch, his baby boy died. And I think that's a life sentence enough. Do I think he should have been charged? Absolutely. I think there's negligence here. He was originally going to be charged with child abuse. I don't mind that either. I do think, and don't get mad at me yet. Let's not get into a little, relationship problem here. Because what he says the night of the accident ends up changing. Melly, does he lie? Yes. I don't want to sound like I'm not empathetic and feel for them, but I am going to call it like it is. And maybe in a moment of tragedy, panic, shock, fear, and pain, mentally and emotionally, could he have gotten things wrong? Sure. I think he could have. I think he could have maybe left some details out, or maybe misreported some details to one officer and then the other, because that's what happened in this case. So the accident happened. What he reported to the police was different than what he reported to DCS, Child Protective Services. So the story changed a little bit. And initially, when the accident happened, he didn't tell the truth exactly about what he was doing inside. So with that being said, let's get started. Up here, I have Emilie Kiser and Trigg and Brady Kiser. These are the people that I'm speaking about, the family that I'm speaking about. And like I said, she is a TikTok influencer, mom influencer, social media influencer, etc. They're from Phoenix and Arizona, Chandler, Arizona to be exact. Emilie began social media in 2016. She had 3 sisters. She was born on January, she's 26 years old, and she was born on January 22nd. She has been married to Brady since November of 2019. She has 2 million followers on Instagram, like I said, 4 million on TikTok, and then she has all of the other social medias. So she's very much out there in the social media world, which is why I am going to be talking about her. And I think that if you guys want to talk about it, this case, so be it. Her content is very much family life based, parenting, raising kids, lifestyle, makeup, cooking food, very much those kinds of things. They had a son named Teddy, who was born in March 2015, was about a month old when this accident happened. So what exactly happened is, like I already told you guys, the mom went out, Emilie, to have dinner with friends. Dad ends up watching both boys. He initially says that he was in the kitchen watching Trigg out in the grass playing. And he says that, he turned his back for about 3 to 5 minutes, et cetera, et cetera. He was trying to feed the baby. I'm saying et cetera, and I'm not giving too much of the details because I want you guys to get the details from the police report. I've already gave you guys a spiel and rundown of the case. So he says that, he got distracted inside. Trigg was outside playing in the grass area, and that he thinks Trigg fell into the pool and drowned. He said that he basically turned his back for about 3 to 5 minutes to, tend to the baby, Teddy, and Trigg falls into the pool, drowns, passes away. And Brady pulls him out of the pool, brings him inside, tries to perform life-saving measures. He is unsuccessful in that. Baby boy Trigg ends up passing away. This happened on May 12th, 2025. He was air flighted from the home to the hospital. I believe it was Phoenix Children's Hospital. It does say in the police report. Don't knock me if I'm wrong. They life flight him to the hospital. He is in intensive care for 6 days. He was probably in a coma. We don't know those facts yet, but I'm assuming that's probably what happened. And my heart breaks as I tell this because it's horrifying. People lose oxygen to the brain very quick in water. It can happen very fast. So Trigg loses his life on May 18th. 6 days later after the accident, he dies in the hospital. I know. It's definitely brutal. So, like I said, May 12th, we're going to do a little timeline. May 12th, Brady was reportedly at home at the time feeding the couple's two sons. While he was feeding the two sons, he was watching an NBA playoff game between the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Why is this important? It's important because he lies. He lies about what he was doing inside. Maybe he didn't want to mention that he was watching basketball. Maybe he did get distracted. Maybe it was for 3 to 5 minutes that he felt he wasn't micromanaging. But let's just stop for a minute. This little boy was 3 years old and he's outside. We live in a world where I don't think that's a thing anymore, like playing outside. For those of you who can relate, you know what I mean? Like I used to go outside and pull grass with my friends, and we used to make like little potions. If you know, you know. And so I don't think that's like a thing anymore, specifically when there's a pool. Like, do you leave your children, someone who cannot tend for themselves outside by themselves? This is why this case is, I think, such a big thing, such a big deal. So Brady's watching the basketball game and he's with the two little boys. A redacted police report regarding the incident indicated that Brady placed a $25 bet on the game prior to Trigg's death. So while Trigg was outside drowning, he was inside making a bet and watching the basketball game. And I know it's kind of brutal when I say it out loud to you guys. I've been studying the case, but I'm like, ooh, you know, that makes me feel some type of way. He placed a $25 bet on the game prior to Trigg's death, and noting that his attention was divided, and he ended up winning about like $102 from that game, I believe. And Trigg, meanwhile, went outside and he tripped into the pool after playing with an inflatable chair. There was an initial police report. The August 8th report indicated that Trigg was in the backyard unsupervised for more than 9 minutes and was in the water for about 7 of those minutes, despite Brady initially claiming that the incident occurred over only a few minutes. So Brady was saying that he was in the kitchen and he was like doing something and he was distracted, and he left Trigg out there for 3 to 5 minutes. And that was the initial statement in the police reports. He said something different to the police than he did to Child Protective Services. Then they do a search warrant. The police department does a search warrant to do an investigation. They end up getting the surveillance camera footage from the home, which this was why I was saying I was upset, and this is why I'm speaking on it very publicly. And I'm not redacting things. Emilie Kiser fought and had a lawyer on August 8th win this lawsuit that she filed against the county to keep information private, keep it redacted, and keep it hidden. Body cam footage, okay, girl, I'll give you that, fine. You don't want anybody to see that. It's your right, that's your son. But police report, the 2 pages that she asked to be redacted states a lot of detail of what her husband was doing, and I think blames the husband, and she got it. She got what she wanted. The 2 pages have been redacted from the police report. We're going to read through that police report. Hey, ATS, good to see you, love. And I have my opinions about this case, clearly. So he tells the police that he was, you know, distracted and didn't have his eye on Trigg for about 3 to 5 minutes, but the surveillance camera footage ends up saying otherwise. 1, Trigg wasn't where Brady said he was at the time of the incident. 2, Trigg was outside a lot longer than 3 to 5 minutes. And 3, he says differing statements to all of the law enforcement entities involved. Brady initially said that he saw the dog watching the pool, and he had a poor feeling about it, that he saw the dog probably staring into the pool like, what the hell is going on, right? And that's when he goes outside and he finds Trigg floating in the pool, and he proceeded to jump in and call 911. That was May 12th. May 18th, it's an ongoing investigation at this point. This is when Trigg passes away in the hospital. May 27th, Emilie files a lawsuit asking the court to block the release of records related to Trigg's death. And that is one of the things I have a problem with. Why are you now all of a sudden wanting to keep everything private when you're not that person? She's a TikTok influencer, beauty influencer, all of the sort. It's different. I'm sure a lot of people will argue with me and say, well, Melly, that's not your kid. Like, maybe she doesn't want everyone to see him in the state. Like, what happens when someone dies drowning? Yes, things happen to the body. There's gases going on. I'm sure it's not a pretty look. But I don't like that she has asked to keep some of these things hidden. So, no, I'm with you 100%, says ATS. Yeah, I think, here's how I feel about it. And I'm going to tell you guys now before I even finish the timeline. I think if it was an accident and he was being negligent, I think to admit to it rather than lie would be ideal. Well, Melly, why would he admit to that? Well, because it's what happened. I know he doesn't probably want to be like, hey, you know what? I was dicking around inside and watching the basketball game and I didn't pay attention. And so my son drowned. Like, I don't think people approach police like that necessarily right off the bat. I don't like the whole lying aspect of it. I don't like that he lied. I don't like that he lied. And a lot of people say, a lot of his supporters are like, he didn't lie. Melly, you are wrong. Melly, you are being a mean girl. And all the other people who agree with me, they're like, that was an accident. No. 3 to 5 minutes to 9 minutes is a big difference. It doesn't seem like it. We're so fast moving in this world. I even worry about those 3 extra minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm sure if you have children, and I don't even have children, so that's why I was like, you know what? This is going to be nice to get people who do have children, their opinions. And I'm open to that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not being disrespectful and I'm not dogging the family. But I do feel that Brady Kiser, the dad, is responsible. I do. So May 18th, ongoing investigation. May 27th, she files a lawsuit to block this information. June 2nd, the investigation is officially closed. Then on June 3rd, a judge rules to give Emilie temporary confidentiality on her request for privacy until a determination is made that balances the public's need for information versus privacy interests. So Emilie tries to say that, Judge, I don't want this information out because people online are going to make AI videos. They're going to do all this weird stuff with the information and they're going to report things about me that this isn't what she was worried about. But this is what I'm saying. She doesn't want people to know the truth because she's making millions off of TikTok. And if people know that you're a careless parent, do they really want to give you their money and support you? Maybe not. I think she would take a hit there. And do I necessarily think she was all caught up in the whole fame thing of it all? No, I think she's hurting. I think it was genuinely an accident, but I think the father was negligent. So 2 things I think can be true at the same time. So July 15th, investigators recommend that Brady be charged with a class 4 felony charge of child abuse. 𝐻𝐿 says, replace it being the dad, being a babysitter nanny that was reckless. Exactly, 𝐻𝐿. I want to talk about that. And ATS says, how do you let a 3-year-old outside that long? You know he lied to the wife too. I agree. Melly, you're fit to be a lawyer. Thank you. Hey. So investigators are like, no. We got the surveillance footage. Something is not matching up here. Charge his ass. They're like, get him. He lied. I'm kind of with them on that. I really can say that I support that. So the district attorney ends up not charging him. I know. And as we speak, the case is closed, but mind us. I think it could be possibly reopened. I don't know. We'll see. The case is closed at the time that I am speaking right now to you guys. Cases can close, cases can stay open, things can happen. I am a very spiritual person. I think that, unfortunately, it's not like he intentionally, I don't think he was like, I'm going to wake up today and I'm not going to pay attention to my child so he dies. I don't think it was that. But I do think he was negligent. A lot of people have said that they talk about smoking all the time. And I'm not saying this has anything to do with it, but I think the distractions that he was experiencing, I think created this accident. July 31st, Emilie sought to block the public from seeing documents that allegedly showed the reasoning behind the investigators' recommendation for criminal charges against Brady. Emilie alleged that the redacting the documents could stop possible disturbing content, and like I said, including reenactments of AI. Like she thought people were going to be making AI videos of Trigg. No, Emilie, I don't think that's the case. I think people are going to be making videos about you, girl, just like I am. And I do think she is just a victim in this. She was a mom. She wasn't home. She had no control over it. And like I said, August 8th, she's successful in redacting the 2 pages of the police report. 2 pages. She didn't want out in the body cam footage. Yes, ATS. No one even had the AI. No one's going to do that. That's what I thought too. I'm like, girl, they're not going to be making videos of him. They're going to be making videos of you, girl, Emilie. Like, you got it all wrong. Hello. Good to see you. So no charges have been filed as of today. Initially, the death was ruled an accidental drowning. And then they wanted to charge him with class 4 child abuse because they're saying that it wasn't it was. We'll read the exact definition because, boy, I do not know all these, things in the law world. But they were saying that the way they explained it was like, wasn't reckless. It was negligent, I think is like the term they used. I don't know. But I was like, That's when I was like, okay, this makes sense. I agree. But I do think it was kind of reckless too. Because like, why lie? 3 to 5 minutes. It happened 9 minutes. He tried to save his own life, Trigg, and while he was drowning for 2 minutes. He tried to swim. And then 7 minutes, he was unconscious in the pool. I just think that, like, I don't know. He admitted that the child was in the proximity of the pool uncovered on other occasions as well. I did just want to bring that up. I almost forgot that part. When he was giving the police report, the police details for the police report, he said something like he has been out there unmonitored before, and it's not like a usual thing, but he has. And so that also flagged the prosecutors to charge him and want to charge him. This would be the prosecutor's argument. It's like, hey, you knew there was no pool cover on the pool. You lied. You said what you said, and you knew that you were babysitting them, right? Now, what goes on in their marriage, etc., I don't know that. He does mention something in the police report that we'll touch on that kind of says like, he says like, oh, I knew I was going to be watching both of them. Like, it's going to be a lot. And I'm just like, okay, well, maybe it was a lot. Maybe it was. So was this a genuine accident or negligence? You decide after we read the police report and after all the details that I just gave you. It's a terrible, terrible case, really. But this police report is going to give a lot of information and why I have the opinion that I do. So I have already read through this, so we're just going to get through some of these pages to the main details of the report. May 13th, 2025. Tyler Shank, officer. On the date of May 12th, 2025, at approximately 1840 hours, Chandler Police were dispatched to the report of a drowning incident at Redacted, Chandler, Arizona, which is their home. The original call notes indicate that the reporting party's son was in the pool. Call notes further advised that the son was unconscious and not breathing. The son was reported to be 3 years old. The reporting party was advised to open the door for responding officers. Call notes indicated compression instructions were being given. As I entered the residence, I observed a small toddler laying motionless on the ground in between the couch and bar stools in the living room. I would immediately run over to the toddler, who appeared to have a lack of color in his skin and unconscious. The toddler did not appear to be breathing, and I have also observed a large wet spot on the ground around the toddler. I also observed what appeared to be vomit on the ground around the head region of the toddler. Upon reaching the toddler, I immediately began giving chest compressions to the toddler. I thought the note about him vomiting, I thought it was very interesting because I know that vomiting can occur either during the drowning process or during resuscitation efforts. So I believe that's probably what happened when he was trying to give him life-saving resuscitation efforts. He threw up. The male on the scene who let officers inside was extremely distraught. The male subject would go back and pick up an infant baby while I continued to give compressions to the unconscious toddler. Officers attempted to garner further information about the incident from the male. Officers were able to receive that the male subject had last seen the toddler approximately 5 minutes before the incident. While continuing to provide emergency aid, I observed the throw up on the ground around the toddler's head and requested Officer 𝐷𝐿𝐿𝐴 to verify if the toddler had an obstructed airway. While continuing with emergency aid, I ascertained that I had potential further medical equipment in my vehicle that could possibly be of assistance. I coordinated with Officer 𝐷𝐿𝐴 to transfer giving chest compressions while I returned to my patrol vehicle. I traded out with Officer, I hope I'm saying that right, it's 𝐷𝐿𝐴 or 𝐷𝐿𝐴, who began providing chest compressions to the toddler and ran to my patrol vehicle to obtain further medical equipment. Upon returning inside, it was advised that Chandler Fire and my supervisor were arriving on scene momentarily. While working through the equipment I obtained, fire arrived on scene, so I redirected to outside to guide the fire department to the toddler. As fire entered into the residence, I provided firefighters with the information I obtained and observed while providing emergency aid to the toddler. A short time later, the toddler was transported by medical professionals away from the scene to Chandler Regional Medical Center. And this is where he lost his life on April 16th, 2025. Let me make sure. Okay, I thought I was. This is from, and these are like different supplemental reports, police reports. This is from Nathan Douglas. On the tile floor where these items were located, I observed vomit. It was apparent that this is where the child was taken after being removed from the pool. So I did think that was a different important fact. The door, okay, and so remember when I said that there was 4 access points? So they had doors, by the way, that have like the alarm that beep, you know, when you go in and out. One, they weren't working. I'm like, hello? No alarms working? Like inside, outside? Hello? You have a $2 million house? Like, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely having an alarm system that works when I have a $2 million house. And children. Babies, to be exact. Toddlers. I mean, babies, toddlers, they're still, to me, you're a baby until you're like, I don't know, pretty much until your brain is developed at that point. Anyways, so the 4 access points didn't have, the doors didn't work. The locks weren't locking. The alarms weren't alarming. The latching wasn't happening with the locks. None of the locks, and you will hear it in the police report, even officers had like, they were like, what is going on here? Like, very weird. And that is another reason why I'm like, questioning what's happening here. And remember, there was 2 pool covers outside and they were not on the pool. Brady claimed that the pool covers were off of the pool because there was going to be maintenance. Like the pool boys were going to come over, the water company, whatever, pool company, to like, I don't know, do maintenance on the pool. That was ended up being true. But still, why lie? Why lie? Okay, so this is where it gets good. The doors were located on the west side of the great room and led to the back patio. The main sliding door containing the locking mechanism was located on the north end. The handle measured between 33 inches and 37 inches from the floor. The locking mechanism between 38 and 41 inches from the floor. The door was unlocked and opened with little effort. The door was not self-closing or self-latching. On this door, there was an alarm system that did not sound. Okay, I don't have any room to judge. I'm not a parent, but living in the world we live in now, especially being like all informed about true crime, like you bet your ass I'm locking that door. I don't want no killer coming in here. You know what I mean? I'll say, and you're like, good to see you. And so I'm like, wait. $2 million house, no alarms, no working doors, no nanny. Like, hello, you know what I mean? Okay, not everybody has a nanny. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just saying, like, she has like 6 million followers across all social platforms. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't matter. The door did not shut. Okay, the door was an outward opening glass door. I wanted to skip ahead here. The handle was a lever style handle that measured 41 inches to 42 inches from the floor. The deadbolt measured 39 inches from the floor. This door was also equipped with an alarm. The alarm did not sound when the door opened. The door did not shut properly and did not lock. The door was not self-closing. It appeared to be malfunctioning at the time. Yeah. The other door was an outward opening glass door. The handle was a lever style handle that measured 42 to 43 inches from the floor. That also did not sound. So basically in this police report, they're saying, listen, peoples, none of the alarms were working. He wouldn't have known that Trigg was outside until when he saw what was going on through the window. Like, he's sitting there. Don't come for me. I'm not saying that he was not paying attention because he was watching the basketball game. That's what they ended up finding out. How did they find out, Millie? Because they tracked it on the cell phone, baby. He made a $25 bet, won $102. They tracked it. They contacted, I don't know, like whatever sports app he was using. I'm not a sports girly. I like to watch them. I like to have drinks at the sports. Don't ask me about numbers and players because we're going to have problems. Okay, but anyways, so the little app company with, the search warrants, they were like, oh no, dude was watching basketball game. Yeah, while the boy was drowning. I hate to sound so like I don't have any feelings because I kind of want to cry sometimes when I think about the story. I'm like, oh shit, this is bad. Laziness. They have plenty of cash, no excuse to not have your house working in order. Which, that's what I'm saying. And I just want to say, you're my favorite player, Yasin. Oh my God, wonder if his wife knew. You know what? Okay, two things. Okay, wonder if his wife knew. ATS, you know what? In none of these police reports, we don't have them all documents, but in none of this police report do I hear that she's like crying or upset. And I just find that really weird because they're like, oh, the dad was freaking out when we walked in. But it doesn't say anything about the mother being upset. I'm sure she is. Or maybe we haven't seen those documents, but I'm just like, she went into the hospital and met them there. So I expected to see something like that. Laziness. Yes, witch. If this was me or you, witch, or ATS or Yasin, and we went over to Zanny the nanny, I'm just using an example, Zanny the nanny, or, she's watching our kid, vice versa, we're watching her kid, and we don't pay attention and someone drowns in our backyard, and we're not famous TikTokers with millions and zillions of dollars to have good lawyers, we're getting charged. Absolutely, we're getting charged. And I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but like, no, we really are getting charged. Like, we're going to jail for negligence, child abuse. I think that these people moved quick. And like I said, Emilie got on it real quick, filed a lawsuit, not even a request, like a whole lawsuit to like stop the police report and the body cam from getting into our hands as true crimers, the public. I don't like that. I don't like information to be hidden. It all needs to be public. All of it. Especially if you're a TikToker and you're over there like showering, you're like talking about what shampoo you want to use. Girl, you better tell us what's in that police report. Okay, let's go on. I entered the backyard and noticed a large rectangular diving pool that measured 22 by 45 long. The deepest portion of the pool was approximately 102 inches deep. There was a diving board at the deepest end of the pool. The shallow portion of the pool was located on the south end and was 38 inches deep. The middle area of the pool measured 77 feet. Well, it's actually inches on here, not 77 feet. Okay, let's go on. The parts that I'm skipping just because I felt like I mean, it's all important now that I'm thinking about it, but it's just talking about like the temperature of the hot tub was 91 degrees because there was a hot tub tool. On the east end of the pool was a large lounge area, sometimes referred to as a Baja shelf. The depth of the water in this area was 17 deep. There were 2 steps leading onto the shelf. The pool temperature, the pool temperature was 81 degrees. On the southwest portion of the pool, I observed a large netting and a fabric top rolled up onto PVC carriers. These were covers for the pool that were not in use at the time. I'm going to blink so much that my eyes just like pop out on live here. It was later learned that the covers were in place most of the time, but were recently removed so the family could enjoy the pool. They were never replaced. This I struggled with. I was reading this last night and I was like, okay, we're human. Do you and I do everything perfectly? Do we forget to put the sun catcher on our car? Like, do we, or blocker, whatever you call it? Do you know what I mean? Like, did I forget to water the one plant that was on the far end tonight because I don't want to walk my ass over there and it died? Like, do you know what I mean? There's things that I think we miss just naturally as humans. But then I'm like, but you have children. I used to babysit for my sister. I don't have my kids, but I helped raise my nieces and my nephews. And I'm like, boy, they weren't even allowed outside unless I was out there. You know what I mean? I know things are different. People are different, and I'm very paranoid. So they probably were like, I was probably more strict than their own mom. But like, anyways, this was concerning to me because they had all this stuff except no alarm working and no locking doors. But they had all these pool covers that they weren't using. On May 13th, which is the day after, this is from the police report, I assisted Detective Wrights with 2 additional search warrants. The first one was written for simple systems to obtain video surveillance from the house. So Brady's initial statement didn't match the body cam footage. Oh, yeah, no, it didn't match. And what did she fight to have sealed? The body cam footage. Never let a 3-year-old outside, even alone with the pool. Yeah, ATS can say a lot about this. She has 2 babies, toddler, but like I said, I think they're still babies in my eyes. I think the worst case scenario. I think of the worst case scenario also. Yeah, exactly. Which I think it was negligent. I do. And my heart breaks to say that because he was probably just inside trying to do dad duties and was trying to watch the game and like do all of it in multitasking. And he's a man. I'm not sexist. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like very much like he was watching him. You're watching your 2 kids. I really am the type of person, like, I don't care what you do. Like, if you want to do whatever you have to do, I don't even really care unless you're a good human and you're good to me. You can go do whatever you want, really. Like, if you want to go rob bank, go do it. I ain't going to hate you for it. Like, I ain't going to bully you or come at you for it. Like, whatever. So I feel like even if he was distracted, because first he was like, oh, I was distracted, 3 to 5 minutes, la, 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 la. Then later it's like, oh, I was getting a drink, 9 minutes. So I'm like, hold up. That's like different here. 3 minutes, 9 minutes. Like, you can be late to a job, like corporate job, like what, 3 to 5 minute window, 9 minutes. They might be getting asked like, yo, why were you late? Like, and so I feel like what was really going on and why'd you lie? Eventually, the father and the infant left with the fire department to go to the hospital. Remember, this happened on May 12th. Trigg was on pretty much intensive care for 6 days. He died on May 18th. So sad. Okay, this is from Angelo Holomo. It's horrible and people will say he has suffered enough, but I guess that's debatable. Exactly, which I said that at the beginning. I was like, my heart does. He's living a sentence within himself that I think has no ending and has no healing. People say like, you heal. We need to have, maybe on Melly After Dark, we can talk about this after, but like, what does that mean? And like, what does that really mean? And it's different for everyone. And like, do people really heal? Is it healing or is it like kind of repressing emotion? You know what I mean? Like, we can argue about that. Sure. It's healing. But I think like the fact that on his watch, your son dies and you're watching a basketball game and you lied about it. I don't know. So this is from a different officer. You would never heal from this even after the divorce. I think so too, ATS. I think so too. You never heal from this even after divorce. And I think it's going to be probably so hard, right, to stay in that marriage. Like I would hope that they do. I just feel like, how do you come back from that? How do you come back from that? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll make it through. I mean, she's over here fighting to keep stuff about him in the police report private. That's exactly what it is. I'm not sugarcoating it. She doesn't want that information out. And like I said at the beginning of my life, it is not protecting Trigg to keep this information hidden and redacted. I'm sorry. We might have differing opinions. Sorry, not sorry. We're all welcome to that as long as we're respectful. But in my humble opinion, I'm not a professional. I'm just a true crime junkie. I truly believe that. I observed the RP, the father, in a state of panic and concern for his child. He was pacing back and forth in the room where their child was at while they were checking on the child. Officer Shank began doing rescue compressions on the child. The RP then told his wife, the RP is Brady, that his wife had just gone out with friends. RP also stated that there was a 5-minute time gap that he did not know where his son was, to which I relayed this information to Chandler Dispatch to advise the fire department. Shortly after, Brady found his son in the pool and saw that his son was unconscious. Brady got his son out of the pool and contacted emergency services. Could he have been in the state of shock that maybe he thought 5 minutes was 9 minutes? Okay, sure. I'll give him that much. Maybe panicking. Who even thinks right in a state of shock when you see your child drowning? You pull him. I can't even imagine. I'm over here like crying when I have to walk my dog and it's 100 degrees outside and the little paws, I'm over there like trying to buy little paw boots. So I can only imagine like seeing your child. I would probably not get things very straight either, but multiple times he had interviews where things didn't add up. I was contacted by Sergeant 𝐷𝐸 at 1945 hours and asked to respond. I was told by Sergeant Berry that a 3-year-old was in critical condition and being transported from Chandler Regional Medical Center to Phoenix Children's Hospital via helicopter. Emilie Kiser was at a restaurant with some friends when the incident occurred. On scene, Brady said he last saw Trigg about 5 minutes before the 911 call. Redacted arrived at PCH with Emilie, who had flown in the helicopter with him. There was a long period while doctors and nurses provided treatment, and Emilie sat in the hallway watching. This is where I expected the officers to know she was in distress. She's freaking out. She just punched everyone. We think we might arrest her for bodily harm, like she's having a mental breakdown. I expect to see this in the police report. And I'm like, she sat in the hallway couching. Like, was she screaming? Like, I would be cussing at everyone. You know what I mean? Like, I would be like freaking out. I'm not going to do a little, I might win an Oscar, so I'm not going to do a little moment here, but we'll do it later. Brady had not yet arrived, so I introduced myself to Emilie, but did not attempt to interview her. Brady arrived and the family was taken to the conference room nearby while Redacted continued to get treatment. Trigg. Due to a logistical and space considerations with the pediatric intensive care unit, there was no place at the time to separate the parents. Emilie wasn't home when the incident occurred, so I asked her not to participate in the interview while I spoke to Brady. So this is his initial statement. Brady Kiser. He says, Brady woke up around 7 a.m., made breakfast for Trigg before taking him to school. He stopped on the way home and picked up coffee for himself and Emilie. After getting home, Brady went to the gym for a workout. He then did some stuff around the house before it was time to pick up Trigg. Around 2:15 to 2:20 p.m., Brady left to pick up Trigg and stopped at McDonald's on the way home. They arrived back home at 4:30 p.m., and the four of them spent time at the house until Emilie left at 6 p.m. to go out with friends for the night. After Emilie left, Brady made Trigg dinner as he fed Teddy, the newborn baby, a bottle. Trigg finished his dinner and went into the backyard. Brady was sitting on a back chair, and this is where I say pay attention. Brady was sitting on a back chair that pointed out the backyard out through the back windows because while I was holding Teddy, I wanted to be able to see Trigg, he said. Trigg was seen in the grass area of the backyard near a blow-up slide playhouse, and Brady saw him walk from that area in the grass up to the elevated portion where the hot tub was at. That's where I had seen him last. After seeing Trigg near the hot tub, Brady thought Brady, and went to get a drink. I don't know if they meant about that. Then he went back to see where Trigg was at. Brady then went outside and saw Trigg in the water. This I had a problem with. He went to get a drink. Where? I thought he was sitting there watching him in the kitchen. Like, where was the drink? At the bar on the other side of the house? Like, hello? Should have been drinking, to each their own. Most people do, and that's fine. Drink all the wine you want, but most parents don't let their children out at the pool, even when they have some wine. Like, and I mean the adult, not the child. Clearly. So I just think like, wait. So you were playing basketball games on the little app. You were betting, and then you were having a drink while watching the game. What do you guys think? I'm curious. Which says, I don't think I would give a statement at this time. Can your mind even function? Right? He saw him near the hot tub. Exactly. ATS says, wow. Let's continue. He laid Trigg on the ground, took off his shirt, and dove in the pool. Oh, I'm sorry. He laid Teddy on the ground. Oh, dang. He put the newborn baby on the ground? I guess that makes sense. Like, not even on the living room carpet? Like, He laid Teddy on the ground, took off his shirt, and dove in the pool. After pulling Trigg from the pool, Brady carried him inside and laid him on the ground. There is where he started CPR, including breathing into Trigg's mouth. When he did that, Trigg vomited water and food. He was drinking wine. I don't know, ATS. A lot of people were giving him a lot of backlash for that. Took his shirt off. Yeah, I guess he took his shirt off to I guess maybe like swim. Poor baby boy. Oh my gosh, you guys. Can you imagine? You're a 3-year-old. Well, we can't because we're not 3 years old. But if you have a 3-year-old or even close to it, like, can you imagine them falling in the pool and like trying to save their little life for 2 minutes and then boom, they pass away and they're in there for 7 minutes. That's rough. It's rough. Brady said that his CPR activity and calling 911 all happened in the same moments. When the police arrived, they took over CPR. Brady went outside and picked up Trigg and was thoroughly freaking out. After Trigg left in the ambulance, Brady gathered a few things that went to the hospital in a fire truck with Trigg. I clarified that Brady knew Trigg was outside. He told me, and I quote, when he got up from eating to go outside, I said, okay, I was aware of it. And this right here is why I think prosecutors were like, dude, there's intent. Not that you meant for him to drown, but you knew what you were doing. I'm stuck on that. Like, would you let your child, 3 years old, go outside and play? Maybe if there wasn't a pool, I might consider it. Maybe if there was someone out there, maybe if I had cameras, maybe if I would see. I don't know. Okay, let's continue. Brady, again, it's not the moment for me to get fully in my feelings right now, but I will. Brady again mentioned that he was watching out the back window and said, quote unquote, I didn't have a clock, obviously. I don't know the exact time, but it was moments. It wasn't minutes. It was moments. It wasn't that he had been out of sight for long. Almost 10 minutes to be exact. I asked Brady about the 5-minute statement he made to patrol on the scene. He said that he's told different people 3 minutes or 5 minutes, but wasn't sure the exact timing and said it wasn't very long. Brady and I discussed the layout of the backyard, the elevated hot tub, and where Trigg was found in the pool. He described finding Trigg in the water below the elevated hot tub and diving across the pool to get to him. 10 minutes makes me sick. Because you and I are thinking like 10 minutes, I can get a whole lot done in 10 minutes, huh? ATS is over here making dinner, making a bottle. I'm over here getting ready. You know what I mean? Like, we can do a lot of things in 10 minutes, I feel like. So I'm just wondering, like, how he didn't hear anything. The doors weren't fully closed. Like, see, and this is why we want the body cam footage and why we're never going to see it. I'm wondering, like, was there screaming? maybe he's so little, maybe his airways, he couldn't scream with all that water incoming. Like, I'm just really like wondering, like, you didn't hear anything? Someone like flapping around in the water? Like, this is why the police had a problem with it, because they're like, you weren't where you said you were, because if you were, you would have seen it all happen. So you were like literally walked away. That's why they decided they wanted to press charges on him. And then they ended up dropping the charges. Such a long time not to have eyes on your kid, especially with the pool ATS. You know what I mean? Like a pool. I am like, I love the water, but like, I ain't getting in no water. I love it. I'll collect seashells and whatnot. Am I jumping into the river and in the ocean? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not even the pool barely I jump in, because water is a very mysterious thing, I think. For another conversation. It became clear that this elevated area around the hot tub is a common spot for Trigg to play, and he plays in the backyard often. Brady said there were toys in that area and that Trigg plays in the backyard all the time throughout the day with us. All day. He's out there with the dogs. He's in and out. It's what he does. Brady described a pool cover that the family has, but he didn't put it on because the pool service was coming at noon on Tuesday, which was proved to be true by police and investigators. So he was planning on putting it on after the service. This claim, it says right here, this claim about the pool service was verified by Detective Duncan on May 13th when we were at the residence. The pool service was there servicing the pool. I asked Brady what he thought had happened, and he said, quote unquote, I think just that he was playing out back, wandering and playing like he does, and must have slipped. Must have, I think it was an accidental that he had fallen into the water. And obviously he knows he's safe. He knows he's not supposed to go around it. End quote. It really pisses me off when people say like, oh, he's supposed to know. And I'm like, most adults don't even know. Shit. Like, what do you mean the child was supposed to know? Like, they're children. Like, their brain is like this small. Like, what do you mean? They're children. They're not even fully developed. Like, he knows he's not supposed to go around it. That kind of bothered me. Maybe I'm being too judgmental. I don't know. Let me know. Why would you leave it off even for a day? Or maybe leave it off and like maybe not a pool day, outside day. Like maybe tonight, kids, we stay home and color, I don't know, make food, bake cookies, like whatever it is. There's so many things, especially being a millionaire household. Like there's so many things you could have done. And I guess maybe playing outside, like he says, was normal for Trigg. But I'm like, then maybe you shouldn't have been watching the damn basketball game. You know what I mean? Okay, so Emilie Kiser's statement. Emilie left to meet friends at a taco place about 20 minutes from their house. She remembers arriving at the restaurant at 6:32 p.m. because she was a couple minutes late. Brady called her and was inconsolable, but told her I need to come home and that Trigg had fallen into the pool. Emilie immediately left, and her friend drove her to Regional Medical Center in Emilie's car. She then flew in the helicopter to the other hospital after they got him stable. And that's the part that kills me too, is like, okay, they got him stable, and then he like downgrade, did make it. And if he would he have been a vegetable? Like my heart breaks for this little boy. Department of Child Safety. The Department of Child Safety was contacted by the police department, and an investigator with DCS After Hours investigation team responded. Dana Johnson with 𝐼𝐸IT arrived, and I briefed her on the case facts and statement by Brady and Emilie. She requested to do her own interviews with them, and I sat in on those interviews while recording them with my body-worn camera. They occurred approximately 2 hours after my interview. Brady recounted his day again, and nothing changed in those details. After Emilie left, he described feeding Trigg dinner and sitting next to him on the couch while feeding Teddy. They were watching a basketball game on TV. Trigg got up from the couch and walked out the glass sliding door. Brady acknowledged Trigg going into the backyard and told him to, quote unquote, stay close. He again stated Trigg walked over and was playing in the grass off to the side of the yard, and then I saw him walk up onto it. It's kind of like an elevated platform. I had seen him playing up around there, and at that point, I have eyes on him. So he's basically saying that's the last place I saw him. Brady continued, once again, I was feeding Teddy a bottle, so I was in the middle of doing that while watching Trigg. And after a moment of being like, I had only seen him a moment prior, and I was like, oh, where is he? Got up, walked out there, and immediately saw him in the pool. Brady then described his rescue of Trigg from the pool. And this is like, I think, where he lies. Does he lie? Don't get mad at me. I think or maybe he doesn't remember. I don't know. He says that it was like he was sitting and watching them, but then remember he was off getting a beer. And then I'm like, if you were sitting watching, you would have seen what happened. So maybe it wouldn't have happened? Question mark. But you were getting a drink. But then here he says he's watching them, and that's, I think, where they catch him in the lie. Dana asked how long it takes to feed Teddy, and Brady responded 15 to 20 minutes. So if he knows it takes 15 to 20 minutes to feed the newborn, were you planning on allowing Trigg to be outside those 15 to 20 minutes? Like, was it a nonchalant, like, given? This part I was like, and it was late last night, so I was probably on one, like, reading this police report, but I was just like, he's going out there, he can't swim, you don't have no pool cover, your doors don't beep, your alarms don't work, the locks don't work, and the baby's it's gonna take 20 minutes for Teddy to finish his little bottle. Brady estimated that Trigg was outside for a total of 3 minutes from the time he walked out the sliding glass door until he saw him in the pool. After giving the 3-minute time estimate, he made the following statement, quote unquote, I was home alone. I had both kids, so I knew I needed to obviously be tending on both of them. So Trigg wasn't ever out of my sight for long, but and he abruptly ends a sentence there. Trigg's swimming ability came up, and Brady reported that Trigg had been to some swim lessons and knows how to kick his feet and swing his arms, but he's not proficient. Brady stated that Trigg knows not to go in the water without us. Again, he did try to, Trigg, and that's what breaks my heart too, is like, he tried for 2 minutes. He tried to, like, survive in the water. You know what I mean? Hey, Cakespoo, good to see you. That's the exact reason the kid would go on it, because he's not supposed to. Right, 𝐷𝐿. After speaking with Brady, Dana interviewed Emilie. Emilie didn't report anything new or different when she recounted the day from her perspective. However, the topic of Trigg swimming's ability came up again. Emilie said that Trigg has taken swim lessons, but didn't fully know how to swim. She said Trigg knew how to swim to us, and he knew how to climb the wall, but where he fell in, there was no wall. Emilie said Trigg will play on the Baja step in the pool while being watched, but doesn't go in the pool unsupervised. She then mentioned, we usually have a net on the pool. The detail was mentioned in the original interview, but Emilie elaborated that the net was called a 𝐿𝐿𝐴. She told Dana, we were swimming as a family the last couple of days, so we didn't put it back on yet. Do I think that was a genuine mistake? Yes, I do. Maybe they were like, oh, we're not, like they said, we don't want to put it on and take it off tomorrow morning when the pool guy comes. Okay, well, don't let your child out alone with no cover on. I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, shortly after the interview, I left PCH. At that time, it was early morning hours of May 13th, and Trigg remained in critical condition in the PICU. So this is the part where Emilie filed the lawsuit to keep it redacted. The surveillance video is right here, where you see the black parts, 2 pages of details of what was going on inside, and then the body cam footage right here. This is what I have a problem with. Why hide all of this, Emilie? You don't want us to know what? What don't you want us to know? Because we know that death by drowning is not ever so pleasant, and we know what happens to the body and the brain. But, like, we don't know what your husband was doing. I mean, like, why hide all of this? And that's why I'm talking about this case. So don't come for me. Don't get mad at me. I don't like it. Okay, so redacted. Still, some of these facts the PCH medical file is 15 to 21 pages long. I'm sorry, 1,521 pages long. Okay, so that was his first interview. You guys catching on? Second interview. Due to the discrepancies between Brady's initial statement on the night of May 12th and what was on the surveillance video, I asked him to come in for a second interview. Brady agreed and came to the Chandler Police Department on June 16th, accompanied by his attorney, Flynn Carey. And this is what Brady says in the second interview. Emilie left the house until he saw Trigg in the pool. Brady made the following statements. Emilie left the house at 6:10 p.m. Brady had been preparing to feed Teddy by thawing breast milk. After Emilie left, Brady, Trigg, and Teddy were in the living room, and Brady began the process of feeding Teddy. Trigg asked Brady to make him mini pancakes, and the two of them cooked the pancakes in the microwave. Trigg sat on the couch eating while Brady fed Teddy. Brady stated that he never set Teddy down from the moment that Emilie left until I went out and saw Trigg in the water. I never set Teddy down. After he ate, Trigg went out the back door, and I had seen that, and I looked out to try to locate him and seen him, and I returned to feeding Teddy. Brady said he was focused on his 5-week-old baby because he was feeding him, and Teddy was getting sleepy. He told me, after I located Trigg, I returned to feeding him and doing all the things I just explained. Brady looked outside and saw the dog looking in the pool and had a poor feeling as soon as I saw it, and it was out of the ordinary to see him standing there looking in the water as he was. So I had stood up and I immediately went out there. I asked Brady about his statement that he, quote unquote, looked out when Trigg first went outside and what he saw. Brady claimed he saw Trigg off in the grass by the diving board. I challenged Brady about the statement because Trigg never went in the grass area. He responded, quote unquote, that's my best recollection of that. So during the second interview, investigators already had the body cam footage. They're like questioning him this because they're like, this doesn't match up. Boy, this does not match up. I stress, hi abuelitas. I stressed that he was telling me and what was on the video are different. Brady responded by saying, quote unquote, I truly have nothing that I am trying to withhold or hide in any way, shape, or form. All I've ever tried to do is recount to the best of my ability of what occurred. This little statement I have a problem with. One, why does your subconscious automatically jump to you're being blamed for this? Like, why are you saying you're not withholding things? I think when humans do this, I think it's because they know they're withholding things. You know what I mean? Like they know they're keeping things and they know they're not bringing all the truth out to the light. And so I think this was like, I'm like, why would you make it about you all of a sudden? Like, oh, you know, I'm not hiding anything from you. Well, it's a second interview, so you got to be questioning, like, why do they want to interview me again? He recognized that he doesn't know exactly what happened with Trigg outside, and again stressed that he was watching his kids, but at the time was focused on Teddy. So is that negligence? Right? He was focused on Teddy. You guys. Okay. It was an accident. I feel for him. Maybe he was focused on Teddy. But there's 2 children. Like, why are you just focused on Teddy? You know what I mean? We spoke for several minutes about the amount of time that Trigg was outside, about 10 minutes, and what Brady was doing during that time. He insisted that he wasn't on his phone. And even though the basketball game was on the TV, it's not where my focus was. It was on my baby. Well, what about the toddler? Hello? For the record, the game on the TV was the game 4 of the Knicks and the Celtics. It was still on the TV when the officers arrived and can be seen on the body cam. I went over several of the discrepancies between Brady's initial statement about what actually happened. I mentioned Brady's claim that the last place he saw Trigg was playing on the hot tub platform and told him that's impossible. Brady responded, that part was once again me trying to recall anything and everything. And obviously I had seen him up there other times before, so I think it was truly me trying to offer up as much information as I possibly could. Brady asked for the details of what Trigg did when he went outside, and I told him. After I gave him the details, I told him he had previously stated he was sitting in the chairs that look outward toward the backyard, but he wasn't sitting there. He responded, I was sitting on the couch. So then he lied, right? Chair, couch, didn't remember. Maybe the drink. I don't know. Like, it's a big detail to leave out, in my opinion. After being prompted by his attorney, he described sitting on the west side of the couch, facing the TV with a sliding glass door to his right. Later in the conversation, I asked for details about Trigg going outside. Brady had previously stated that he knew Trigg was outside, so I asked for details about the interaction before Trigg went outside. Brady said there wasn't much to it. He loved to be outside. He loved to play outside. And so in my mind, it was, just that of him going and doing as he routinely had other times outside to play. The difference was I was the only parent home. He claimed that he usually goes out with Trigg when Emilie is home. He then stated, I thought honestly that it was harmless for him to do that because it was not per se out of the ordinary. He reiterated that it was common for Trigg to go into the backyard, but a parent usually accompanies him. Brady said the 𝐿𝐿𝐥𝐥𝐲 was regularly on the pool except when they were using the pool or every other Tuesday when the pool service comes. I asked how often Trigg goes outside unsupervised, and Brady claimed it's definitely not the norm, but there had been times when he would be outside. I don't have an exact answer for you, but it's definitely not the norm to be outside unsupervised. As the interview was concluding, I asked Brady if there was anything else he could remember about the 10 minutes that Trigg was outside. He told me he didn't remember where their swaddle was or if he had to go to Teddy's room to retrieve it. As we were wrapping up, I told Brady it's clear that for 10 minutes you didn't look outside. His attorney asked, quote unquote, why do you say that? And I told him that Trigg was next to the pool for 2 minutes and then trying to swim for 2 more minutes. Brady lowered his head when I told him and eventually said, quote unquote, only tried to recall and recount my experience of it. He stressed several times that he's doing his best to be open and honest, and there was, quote unquote, no outside distraction other than my newborn baby. He then stated that he was connecting with my newborn baby. This is the part that I was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't just try to say you were connecting with the newborn and you forgot the toddler. You guys, this is why I believe he should have been charged. Okay. Charged, Melly. Do you think he should spend the rest of his life in jail? No. If Mackenzie Shirla and Jamie Komorowski can get 15 to 25 years, I feel like there could be some way that could have addressed both that he was negligent and a quote unquote punishment, sentence. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. That bugs me. Struggling for 2 minutes. Yeah, which. Yeah. A parent being the mom. Yeah. Conclusion. So this tragic incident was a result of Trigg being in the backyard unsupervised while playing around the unsecured pool and unable to swim. It was clear from the video that he did not go into the water intentionally. Rather, he tripped and fell while playing with an inflatable chair. Trigg was in the backyard from 18:29 hours until Brady found him in the pool at 18:39. I believe he found him at 6:39, yeah. And so for 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes, a little less than 10 minutes. He was in the water from 18:32, so 6:32 to 6. Wait, am I not reading military time right? It says 18:32. What is that? 18:32 is, I had to Google that, 6:32 to 6:39. I'm sorry, I had it wrong. 39, not 29. Is that 10 minutes? No, 7 minutes. It is clear Brady's attention was divided. Yeah, because he was struggling for 2 minutes and was in the water for 7 minutes. It is clear Brady's attention was divided and he was not watching Trigg at all during the critical times mentioned. During 2 interviews, he did not know what Trigg was doing before he fell in and did not see Trigg struggling to swim. No evidence suggests that Brady saw Trigg in the pool and failed to act. On the contrary, he acted immediately when he saw him, leaving his infant swaddled on the ground in the patio area. I'd be okay with even house arrest and probation. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Something, right? Like, imagine if like normal people could just be like, oh, that was an accident. Like, I put my kid in the oven. That was an accident. Like, I forgot. You know what I mean? Like, no. Okay, this is what I wanted to read because it says Arizona revised statutes defines criminal negligence as with respect to a result or to a circumstance described by a statute defining an offense that a person fails to perceive a substantial and unjustifiable risk that the result will occur or that the circumstance exists. The risk must be of such nature and degree that the failure to perceive it constitutes a gross deviation from the standard of care that a reasonable person would observe in the situation. The relevant portion of ARS 13-3623 defines child abuse as, or permits a child or vulnerable adult to be placed in a situation where the person or health of a child or vulnerable adult is endangered and is guilty of an offense. I was like speaking hypothetically, bad joke. I'm talking about a case where that did happen. Sorry, I was saying. So he knew he had a newborn baby. He knew he was watching both of them. He knew Emilie was not home, and he knew that Trigg was outside playing. He let him go outside and play. Based on the case facts, I will be submitting the case to Maricopa County for a review, violating ARS child abuse with criminal negligence. This is when they wanted to charge him. This conclusion is based on several factors. Brady knew the pool net was not on the pool. He knew Trigg was in the backyard and didn't know how to swim. According to video evidence, Trigg was in the backyard unsupervised for more than 9 minutes and in the water for about 7 of those minutes. Brady's statements do not match what is seen on the video. He did not accurately describe one thing Trigg did after he went outside. This leads to the conclusion that Brady was not aware of what Trigg was doing and was not watching him. The combination of these factors led to Trigg's drowning, and a remedy to any of these contributing circumstances could have prevented the outcome. I agree. I'm sorry. Don't come for me, because I absolutely agree with the investigators. Do you guys not? I feel like most of you guys agree. A lot of what I'm skipping is just repeat of the parts that we've already read. These are just different police reports. So I'm skipping through the repeat stuff and just reading like the main facts. I think we're pretty close to getting through that. I just wanted to read both of Brady's statements. Oh, right here it says, this one is from July 14th. They did a search warrant for his cell phone activity. And that's where they saw the app, the little sports app where he made a $25 bet. The extraction of the data included that there was 7,235 chats and 28,599 instant messages recorded. I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, oh, dang. That's a lot. Okay, here we go. Verizon captured content for a few of the SMS messages. At 16:31 hours, the device received a message from 41479 with the following content. Your DraftKings verification code is etc. You know, like when it like texts you to verify like whatever you're doing, you know. He got that at 4:31 p.m. So like he had been watching basketball for quite some time and playing this game when he was like betting. At 17:01, the device was received. The following was received on the device. It says, "Hi, it's Capital One. Did you just try to make this purchase with your platinum card?" It did like a little safety thing. The basketball game on the television when officers arrived was game 4 of the NBA playoff series between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. Brady mentioned this game in the first interview and was specifically asked about his interest in the game during his second interview. The broadcast for that game had listed a start time of 16:30 hours Arizona time, according to open source records. The Verizon records show a correspondence with online sports betting company DraftKings very near the start of the broadcast. Redacted was written for clarification of Brady's activity with the DraftKings on May 12th. The search warrant was submitted to DraftKings on July 7th, and they responded with 2 electronic files on July 11th. Specifically, 2 Microsoft Excel files were received from the company. The first file, titled Copy of Kiser, contains a single line. It indicated that a 25 wager was placed on Jason Tatum scoring more than 40 points. Jason Tatum is a player on the Boston Celtics. That wager was a winner, paying $102.50. This wager was placed at 2014 hours Eastern Time, 1714 hours Arizona time. The 2014 timestamp Timestamp is listed in the file without a time zone identifier. I emailed Melissa Hogan asking her about the time zone for that. She confirmed that 2014 was Eastern time in an email response. The second file was a password protected and the password redacted was provided via email. This file included 4 tabs identifying 𝐷 Kiser with email redacted as the account holder. The phone number listed on the account was redacted. The second tab is labeled deposits and contains a record of $150 deposits being made on the account on May 12th at 2012. So this is all happening. The bet, the game, like it's all happening. I think while he's like babysitting. The third tab in this file is located with withdrawals and contains a single line that reads none. The fourth tab is labeled geolocation. There is a single line in this tab with several data points, including IP addresses. The timestamp is listed as 5/12 on 5/12/2331, but again, the time zone is not identified. So it says, he says, I did notice this time zone was missing when I emailed DraftKings for clarification on the time zone for the wager. However, if this time was UTC, it would correspond with the text message seen on the Verizon records. If this time zone was Eastern time, 𝐷 would have been at the hospital. It placed the activity at the Kiser residence. So this is like getting the coordinates and everything. They wanted to make sure he was there. I don't have the luck for gambling. Me either. I'll say. I didn't even really know what that was. Oh, okay. This is related attachment. This is a diagram of the pool. Spa, 7x7, seat depth, 19 inches, floor depth, 41.5, temperature 91 degrees. It's a nice pool. So, so right here's where he fell into the pool. Ooh, all right. Anyways, this is for you guys to see like what the pool looked like. I'd have to move. I know, ATS. I was thinking that. I'm like, ooh. And she hasn't been on any of her socials to post anything, of course. And especially now that she's, she filed a lawsuit to get all of this redacted because they pulled these 2 pages from the police report on the 8th of this month. So like, Melly, you know how to do math? No, 3 days ago. Yeah, I think, what is she going to do? Come on and like talk about it and like, I'm just curious how this is going to play out in social media and the fact that she makes millions off of this. All of the things are normal to do as a parent. He's raising the kids, not babysitting, but the difference is you have to multitask and do all the life stuff and still watch your kid. Exactly, which. So this is the probable cause statement. They really wanted to charge him with a class 4 felony. Was there a child? That's just like the paperwork. Like, was there a child involved? Did they live together? Chandler PD. Okay, this says this is a probable cause statement. On May 12th, 3-year-old victim drowned in the pool at his residence. At the time, he was under the care of his father, 𝐷 Kiser. 𝐷 was also caring for his other son, who was 5 weeks old. So he had a newborn. Cops were proud parents too. Yeah, I agree. Video evidence shows that victim was outside for more than 9 minutes before 𝐷 checked on him and about 2 minutes and 30 seconds after exiting the house. Victim trips and falls into the pool from elevated platform and then redacted. So you guys, think about this. He was literally outside for 2 minutes. Like, that's how fast, like, and then he fell into the pool. Like, that's how fast things happen. In 2 separate interviews, 𝐷 insisted that he was not distracted by anything other than his 5-week-old. He made conflicting statements about where he was sitting, but in his second interview, he said with conviction that he was sitting on the couch facing the television. Regardless of what I think of whether he should have got time, etc., like, this has to be so rough. And my heart does go out to 𝐷 Kiser and their family. Like, I think maybe just being truthful. Well, maybe Melly, maybe he was in shock. He doesn't remember things. Nah. He knows. Unless he was belligerently drunk, like, you are aware of what's going on. You know, you have 2 kids at home. Like if we were to ask ATS, like, do you ever forget your kids? She would probably punch me. Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, you don't forget you have 2 little lives in your house, like, who need you and who you need to be watching, you know, like, every minute. They're like little kids. I used to do all kinds of things when I was little. I used to like climb on the chairs, try to get into the sink. I wanted to wash the dishes. And then there was a window in the kitchen. I would try to like jump out. I was like a crazy little kid. So I'm, you know, which is really sad. So they redacted the body cam footage and 3 pages of the police report. AT says, yeah, you don't get 10 minutes alone without checking on. Oh, sorry, I just cut myself off. Anyways, that's the end of the police report. I did want to pull up my PowerPoint. You know, it's such a sad case, but like I said, I do think that he needs to be held accountable and responsible for letting his eyes off of Trigg. So like I said, as of today, the case has been closed. He has not been charged. I'm thinking they can probably open this case maybe at any time they want. But like I said, Emilie fought with her lawyer to file a lawsuit, keep things redacted, keep things private. So I'm sure it's probably a battle that they're dealing with, and how she addresses things and handles this on social media. I'm very curious to see. You guys should all follow her, and I followed her too, because I'm curious like what they're gonna do. I was thinking she might not come back, but who knows? She's making millions off of, and that's, I just want to say that's why I'm sharing this, because I feel like she's a social media influencer. She puts their life out there. So I didn't feel bad about putting this on here. I don't usually like to put pictures of kids. We do cover a lot of kid true crime cases as well, but I felt that this needed to be talked about. So that's them in the picture, Trigg, Brady, and Emilie. She fought to keep details sealed. Why? Is it you don't want to, like I said earlier, you don't want us to judge you. You don't want to lose followers. You don't want people to know what your husband was doing, but we already know. And now we only know half of it. So, and we already think it was shitty. So like, you might as well just let us see the rest of the report. Body cam footage. Okay. I take it. Like, fine. You don't want the body cam footage to get out. I get that. It's probably horrible. You see a kid drowning, literally. You know, he was like kicking his feet up in the water, trying to get out. So I can't imagine that would be a very easy scene to watch. And she probably doesn't want that in the public. I probably wouldn't either. But I think as far as the husband and the police report, I think let law enforcement speak on what they saw. And like I said, keeping this stuff and information redacted does not help Trigg. The lawyer, the family's lawyer, came out and said, we're requesting this information to be kept from the public so that people don't run with this information and make of it what they want. And it's like, so that's protecting the parents. It's not protecting Trigg. Trigg's voice was lost when you decided to redact what happened to him. That's how I feel. You can disagree with me. That's fine. I still love you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. For sure, why the need to keep the body cam and specific details hidden is my question. So sad. And look at how beautiful they are in that picture. I can't imagine. Who knows? It raises awareness. It says ATS. Yeah, which was says she will come back. Who knows what else he was doing on that phone? A basketball game. Don't they have like, I don't really watch TV clearly because I'm always watching true crime, but like, don't they have like, what do you call it when you like have something on that it records while your TV's like off or away? It's like, what's the word? I can't think of it right now, but like, oh, like on demand. Like, can he watch the game later? Damn it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wait till your wife got home and then go and drink and smoke and do whatever you want while you're watching the game and your kids are with mom. Like, I'm just thinking, like, it was that important. They have highlights too. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So that's the case of Trigg Kiser. So sad. And like I said before, my heart goes out to Emilie Kiser, Brady, all of it. You know, I'm so sorry that they went through that, but I'm not sorry that you're trying to keep information hidden, and we don't like it. We are here as true crime content creators to bring you guys the truth. And you guys know that aside from my personal stuff, I always do bring you guys the facts and the documents. I try to at least have that for the facts. And I just really don't like that, reading that police report. And there's so much information missing. And I don't think you should get a pass. I don't. Like ATS says, maybe like probation, house arrest, parenting classes of some sort. I don't know. Like, the fact that you just got written off as an accident, but it wasn't. And that's why investigators pursued it. And, you know, and that's another whole thing of law enforcement we can talk about on another live. It's like, oh, some people in law enforcement feel this way and others feel that way. And like, I don't know, maybe a jury trial would have been preferred in this one. Like, what does the people think? You know, the people who are actually parents and doing the same thing that he was doing. I'm curious how that would have worked out. So like I said, RIP Trigg, beautiful little boy. I hope he is resting in peace. And I hope his soul is not living with that tragedy of drowning. It's terrifying. Makes me even more scared of the water. So I will keep you guys updated on this. I know I saw like Law and Crime made a video about it today too. So maybe go check them out. I'm going to go watch it. I haven't watched them. I got into this case, I think like Saturday. And I have been just deep diving it because I had a problem with it. I wasn't going to talk about it. At first I was like, nope, I'm not reporting on that. And then once I got the police report, I was like, okay, yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. It needs to be talked about. Can't watch sports, not live. It's not the same, but I get your point. Okay, sports guy, white male privilege. And that's what I was saying, you guys, at the beginning, is like, if I or whoever was watching my kid, or I watched who's ever kid and they fell into my pool and died, I would probably be charged. And you would too. Like, I'm just speaking hypothetically, unless it was truly proven that it was an accident. And clearly this was not a situation where that was the case. The story didn't match up to the police report that is now redacted, and we'll never know unless it gets unredacted, which I don't think it will. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I find it hard to believe that the prosecutors who wanted to charge him are just going to sleep and think like, oh, you know, I feel like something would come of this at some point. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe. We do Melly After Darks after this. We do all things true crime. Facts, Melly. Thank you, 𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐼TA. Journey. Thank you, 𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐼TA. Yeah, you know, it's a tough one. But I appreciate you guys for being here and being at the live. Thank you to my mods, ATS, abuelitas, Alsane, everyone. Thank you for being here, 𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐿. I will be back tomorrow. There's a lot of other cases that I'm ready to talk about. So, and we got to get caught up too on the other one. There's just so much true crime. But I appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you guys hit the like button. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And I will see you on the next one. Stay safe. Stay blessed.